Hi again, everyone. It's Rapid City Post 22 Baseball on the air tonight from Dickinson, North Dakota, where we have lots of sunshine and we're preparing for a doubleheader here against the Dickinson Rough Riders. With Mark Benetti, this is Tom Rudebush on ESPN Radio Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We welcome our viewers and our director, Destin Heumann. Well, Post 22 rained out, as you know, last night in Bismarck, and they move a few miles west to take on this Dickinson Rough Rider team that has had a good season so far. They've won 20 and lost 9. The Hardhats are 44-6. And Mark, the coach Mitch Messer, he's going to put the pitchers on the national rules starting tonight. The starting pitchers will be limited to 75 pitches per start, and that's what the national rule is, and we'll see that rule enforced in state tournaments, state regional, and hopeful World Series play.
And if it is going to be enforced, then that's something you have to adapt to. So good on Coach Messer and Coach Hurst to adapt to that as well and get their players ready for that mindset, because the last thing you want is to be unprepared just because of a simple rule that you have to follow, and you have no idea how to adapt. You have no idea where to go after that. So good on Coach Messer to get these guys ready for it. 75 pitches, but that puts a little more pressure on the pitcher to make sure that his start is efficient and that his 75 pitches mean something at the end of his stint.
Well, this Dickinson team will host the Central Plains Regional right here at this Astoria Field, and that'll begin on August the 2nd. Hopefully, Post 22 will have some games here for the National Regional. They've done a lot of work on this stadium, and they've added some chairback seating. They still have a little bit of bleacher seating down the first and third base lines, a nice concourse to the concession area. They've done a nice job in upgrading their stadium. It's amazing how many towns around the upper Midwest have put money into their baseball stadiums. Fargo, Bismarck, Dickinson, and I was told by the coach here of Dickinson that they have redone Williston's Park up in north of here. It's probably the finest stadium in North Dakota. That says a lot because you've been to Bismarck, and what a great field they have. So they've got some great ballparks here in North Dakota. You know, the Rough Riders were acting like Post 22, Mark. They went on a 9-day, 6-day road trip, 9 games, 6 days, played in the Gopher Classic, and also went up and played in Duluth, Minnesota, which is quite a haul. And they went 6-3 on that road trip. Pretty impressive as they played into the final round of the Gopher Classic and did a great job up there. So this is going to be a good Dickinson team. We will not see any of their best pitching, however, according to their coach in this series, because they have some league games coming up to determine the final standings in the league they play here during the regular season.
And for a lot of these teams, they have to really play into that league, because that's what they have to go off of. Apparently, from what I understand, North Dakota does seeding for their state tournament, so that's why that's important. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing some of the best arms, but that doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that we're not seeing a good team. We're going to see some great bats. You can't obviously replace the bats like you can a pitcher in that respect. So I'm looking forward to a great matchup tonight, a great 2 matchups, I should say, tonight, because we do have the doubleheader, and then we've got our game, which is actually at noon tomorrow, not 11 a.m., as we had just learned.
So the coaches are meeting with the umpires at home plate, and let's turn over to Mark Benetti for tonight's starting lineups.
Well, the Hardhats are going to bat in the top halves of our 7 innings tonight. Their lineup remains exactly unchanged as it was last night, except for one spot, and that's in the 9 hole. So let's give you 1 through 8, and then the change at 9. Leading off for the Hardhats is number 11, Walker Paz. He's back home at second base. Batting second, number 14, Justin Kramer. He's in the hot corner at third. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman. He's the shortstop. And in the cleanup positions, number 13, Zach Solano. He'll patrol right field. Batting fifth is number 28, Zach Sumption. He's patrolling center field. Batting sixth is number 17, Todd Stevens. He's patrolling left field. Batting seventh, number 21, Timmy Paris, the backstopper and catcher. Batting eighth is number 30, Jack Sorensen. He's at first base. And rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot for Post 22 is number 16, Tommy Wall, and he will be the designated hitter for the Hardhats. On the mound tonight for Post 22 is Riley McSherry, and I think we've exhausted every positive adjective out of the dictionary and thesauruses that accompany those dictionaries with how well Riley has pitched on the mound this season. He comes in for his 15th appearance for Post 22. This will be his 11th by virtue of his start. He has an 8-1 record and 57 2/3 innings of work under his belt, 42 strikeouts to 22 bases on balls, and a 2.19 ERA. McSherry will face Dickinson's lineup as follows in the bottom halves of our 7 innings of Game 1 of this doubleheader. Leading off for Dickinson is number 7, Tanner Ouellette, and he is playing at second base. Batting second is number 10, Cameron Jordan. He's in the hot corner at third. Batting third is number 19, Samuel England. He'll be the starting pitcher for Dickinson tonight. And in the cleanup position is number 15, Elijah Young. He is playing out at first base. Batting fifth is number 8, Cody Meyer. He's patrolling right field. Batting sixth is number 3, Michael McChesney. He is patrolling left field. Batting seventh is number 5, Lucas Jones. He's the shortstop. Batting eighth is number 18, Tristan Brunk. He's the backstopper and catcher. Rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot for Dickinson is number 12, Sean Stefan, and he is patrolling center field. And again, as we mentioned, the 3-hole hitter, number 19, Sam England, is on the mound for Dickinson.
Again, tomorrow's afternoon game will start at 12 noon here on ESPN Radio and on Hardhats-TV. And then the final regular season games this coming Wednesday and Thursday at Fitzgerald Stadium. It's a doubleheader against the Billings Scarlets at 5 p.m. on Wednesday night, 2 games, and then a single game, which I believe starts at 11 a.m. on Thursday morning to conclude the regular season. Hard to believe we opened up the season in Spearfish. And here we are, Mark, 6 games left now in the regular season.
May 3rd, and this team has played 50. Should have been 51, but the Elements had something to say about that last night. But May 3rd, and this team's played 50 games and will finish off at 56. That's a lot of baseball, but you know what? Credit this Hardhats team because they've put together a great regular season campaign. The job still isn't done, though. They still have plenty of baseball that they need to play.
That opening game. You remember anything specific about that opening game in Spearfish?
Yeah, the opening game in Spearfish, I do recall, was the offensive explosion from Post 22. The 18-2 win over Spearfish. I remember Timmy Paris in his first at-bat of the season went yard over the left field fence. We had a couple of nomenclature issues up in the booth, but that didn't stop you and I from having a great first call of the season as well.
I don't remember those, but I do remember how cool it was.
It was
Windy.
Actually really chilly. Yeah, I can't believe that for May 3rd, too. And now we can't seem to escape triple digits wherever we go. It's insane how weather works in these states.
When we look at this field in Hardhats-TV, as you look out over the field, this is an artificial surface on the infield. The infield dirt is artificial surface. The pitching mound, artificial surface. And you can see the green grass, also artificial surface here in Dickinson. So that's a great addition to this ball club. And talking with the coach of Dickinson, he was talking, Steve Greenwood, talking about he thinks it gives his fielders, he says he has a good fielding ball club here in Dickinson, and he likes the fact that the artificial surface seems to give his players some confidence. You know, they're confident they're going to get the good hops. They're confident they can get the same speed on a ball, and so that's worked out real good for Dickinson. Dickinson was never really strong in Legion baseball for many, many years, and then about 9 or 10 years ago, they started really getting their program together. They won state championships in 2008 and 2009 here in North Dakota. And Steve Greenwood, actually the coach of Dickinson, took over about a third of the way last season. They released the head coach at that time and promoted Greenwood to the head coaching position. So this is his first full season. He has been the assistant baseball coach at Dickinson High School here for the last 10 years, so he's got a lot of experience. So the umpires are kind of standing down there looking around and probably looking for some direction, so I could offer them some. Let's get going.
I think that results in 2 simple words of play ball, but we don't have that just yet.
Well, we always like to hear from our Post 22 fans, Mark, and we have some big-time Post 22 fans who always sit right behind home plate at our home games, and that's Dan and Pat Peterson, and they are vacationing in Florida, but they are still listening to the games down in Florida. So those are true fans with all the great sights in Florida. They're going to be watching our Post 22 broadcast tonight from Florida. Hello to Dan and Pat Peterson.
You know, Tom, in observing this ball field, we've run into, and this seems to be commonplace now, where the Hardhats are starting to run into these small ball fields. 320 to each corner, left and right, which that seems fairly normal, but it's only 375 to dead center, which you compare that to Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium, that's an 18-foot difference, and 18 feet can be the difference between either a ground rule double on a hard hop or that ball clearing the fence and touching them all. So it's another thing that these Hardhats really have to deal with here.
So Dickinson takes the field, and their starting pitcher, Samuel England, as we said, is not one of their top 4 pitchers, according to Coach Greenwood of Dickinson. So we'll see how he fares. He hasn't thrown a lot of pitches this year, according to his coach. So it'll be an interesting start for him, where Dickinson is going to be facing the top 3 pitchers on the Post 22 staff in this series.
Well, Sam England's going to have to start off with the top 3 in the Hardhats batting order, and that's second baseman Walker Paz, third baseman Justin Kramer, and shortstop Cooper Bowman in that order. The Hardhats will have to face Sam England as well as the rest of the Dickinson defensive alignment, which features Tristan Bronquez, his catcher and battery mate. At first is Elijah Young. At second is Tanner Ouellette. At shortstop is Lucas Jones, and in the hot corner at third is Cameron Jorda. Left to right in the outfield is Michael McChesney, Sean Stefan, and Cody Meyer.
So we're just about set to begin. Post 22 in their red jerseys and gray pants tonight. Mitch Messer coaching over at third base. Jason Hers will be coaching at first. Samuel England, the right-hander for Dickinson. 20 wins and 9 losses for Dickinson on the season. 44 wins and 6 losses for Post 22. Dickinson, of course, plays high school ball and didn't play their first Legion game of the season until June 7th, where Post 22 played their first game. What did you say, Mark? We opened up on May
3rd.
May 3rd. So here's Walker Paz stepping in against Samuel England, hitting at .365 for Walker. 2 home runs and 28 RBIs. Stefan, the center fielder, is going to shade Walker towards right center. The first pitch of the game is a strike over the outside corner. We are underway at 5:28 this afternoon, and our game time temperature 87 degrees. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a drive deep to right, down towards the corner. It's hooking, though, and going foul. It had the distance, but it went foul, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes.
Walker really got a hold of that one. A nice, good swing, but again, timing was just a tad bit off because the ball started to hook.
So 2 strikes on Walker Paz. Here's the pitch, and it's high for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. And England's pitch. Popped foul, back and out of play. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good protective swing there for Walker. Ball was low and inside on him, so it jammed him, but nonetheless protected the plate. Nice and defensive, still has ball and 2 strikes.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, a fly ball to deep right center field. Myers getting to it, though. He's in front of what would be the warning track and makes the catch out there in right center field. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Justin Kramer, the Post 22 third baseman. Justin hitting .375, 3 home runs and 34 RBIs. And the pitch. Swung on, a high fly ball to left field. McChesney, the center left fielder, backing off, makes the catch. So McChesney makes the catch, and Kramer's fly ball to left. 2 up and 2 down in the Rapid City top half of the first inning. That brings up shortstop Cooper Bowman. $3.99 for Cooper. Here's the pitch, and it is a ball down low. Cooper leading the team at $3.99. He's got a 5-point lead over Zach Sumption, leading the team in RBIs with 57. And takes the pitch high. 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch. And a strike. Letter high on the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike on Bowman. Stephan, the center fielder, now a step towards left center field. Cooper tried to check his swing, and they ruled it. They appeal with the first base umpire, and he ruled he did swing at it. And it looked like Cooper did offer at that pitch, so the count is all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. England into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on a hard ground ball through the hole to left field, a base hit for Bowman. So Bowman with a ground ball single to left field. He's at first base with 2 outs, and it brings up Zach Solano, the right fielder. Zach batting at .362 on the season, 8 home runs. He now has 55 RBIs, just 2 behind Cooper Bowman, who takes his lead from first. The pitch, and a strike. And it's 0-1 on Solano. Bowman, who visited North Dakota State University the last couple of days, dives back to first base. Cooper 24 out of 25 in stolen bases this season. Here's the pitch. Swung out, a dribbler up the third baseline. It's going to be a tough ball to throw out Solano. They won't be able to make the play. A little dribbler up the third baseline, and it stayed fair. So runners at first and second as Solano gets credit for a base hit. And Zach Sumption comes up with 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the first inning. No score. $3.94 for Zach Sumption with 3 home runs and 34 RBIs. And a breaking ball is high for ball 1. Zach leading the team. He has 6 triples on the season. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. A hard ground ball foul outside of third. And the count is 1-1. Leading from second is Bowman. Solano off of first. Young playing a deep first behind Zach at first base. Here's the pitch. And it pops out of the mid of the catcher, and the runners are going to advance to third and to second. So Bowman goes to third, Solano to second. The ball popping out of Brunk's mitt. He'll be charged with a pass ball, allowing the runners to move up. Two and one now on Sumption. And the pitch on the way. And it's high and inside. So the count runs to 3-1. It's been a tough year for scoreboard operators. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. And it's ball 4, low and inside. So Sumption walks, and that loads the bases for post 22. And Todd Stevens comes up playing in left field.
Good moment here for Todd to really draw first blood here for post 22. And like you and I had briefly touched on last night in our pregame conversation, he doesn't get in the batting order often, but when he does, he makes something happen. So here's to him having a go here.
.459 for Todd on the season, right-handed batter. He swings and lifts a high foul down the right field line out of play, and the count is 1 strike. Stevens has 17 hits in 37 at-bats. 7 doubles, a home run, and 14 RBIs. Hasn't had a lot of at-bats, but when he has, he's made the most of them. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The 1-strike pitch to Stevens. Swung on line to left field, and McChesney coming in, can't get to it, and the ball skips by him. Retrieved by the shortstop, Jones. 2 runs will score. McChesney kind of got a late jump on that ball, and it cost him. Stevens will get a hit and 2 RBIs. Bowman and Solano scoring. Sumption ending up at third, and Stevens at second with a double. So that brings up Timmy Paris now with runners at second and third. So 4 consecutive men reaching base here after the first 2 men flied out. Paris hitting .291, swings and misses at a breaking ball. 3 homers for Timmy, 42 RBIs. Sumption at third, Stevens at second, 2 out, 2 runs in. The pitch to Paris, swung on, a high fly ball out into left field. McChesney will have a play on this one, moving a bit towards left center, and he makes the catch. So the Hardhats do come up with a couple of runs after the first 2 men were retired. 2 runs, 3 hits in the inning, no Dickinson errors, and 2 men left on base. At the end of the first half inning of play here from Dickinson, Post 22 has taken a 2-0 lead over Dickinson, and you're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Riley McSherry taking the mound for Post 22. And he takes the mound with a 2-0 lead here as we go to the bottom half of the first inning.
Riley McSherry has an 8-1 record on the season. He'll take on the top 3 in the Dickinson order. And Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman, Cameron Jordan, the third baseman, and Sam England, the starting pitcher. McSherry is surrounded on defense in Post 22 with his catcher, Timmy Paris. At first, Jack Sorensen. At second, Walker Posh. Shortstop, Cooper Bowman. And in the hot corner at third, as always, is Justin Kramer. Left to right in the outfield, Todd Stevens, Zach Sumption, and Zach Solano.
Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman. He's a right-handed batter. Stepping in here against Riley McSherry. Again, 75 pitch limit for Riley tonight. And the first pitch is a strike, a fastball on the outside corner. And I'm still a little bit unclear when we get to state tournament play and they actually enforce the 75 pitch rule as Riley McSherry delivers a strike. It's 0-2. And who exactly is going to be the person that enforces that? I would assume it's going to be the official scorer that's appointed for that particular game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A liner foul off to the right. Ouellette has a count of no balls and 2 strikes. McSherry starts his windup, the 0-2 pitch, and he missed high, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 75 pitches, you're going to have to throw 11 pitches for a 7-inning game per inning to beat that. There's a slow roller towards third. Tough play for Kramer. Bare hand pickup, off balance throw is not in time. Good effort by Kramer. Ouellette will have an infield hit. And that'll bring up Cameron Jordan, the third baseman.
Second infield hit of the ball game for either side. The first one was Zach Solano. That ball is just dying on this turf. It has 0 pop.
Cameron Jordan, a right-handed batter. And Sorensen will hold with Ouellette at first base. McSherry working out of the set. He delivers, and a breaking ball strike on the outside corner. Post 22 coming into the game, their team ERA is better than last year, which was good. It was 3.01 last season, 2.78 for a team earned run average this season going into tonight's game. Pitch to Jorda, breaking ball missed outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Teams are batting .241 collectively against the post 22 staff this season. That's very good. Ouellette leads from first. Here's the set by McSherry. The pitch on the way. The runner goes. Pitches a strike. The throw to second is high. And coming down with the tag is Walker Paz, who leaped up to make the catch and quickly came down to get the tag on Ouellette. Timmy Paris had a strong throw, but it sailed a little high. Great play by the second baseman, Walker Paz. 1-2 the count on Jorda. So a big out there as Timmy Paris helps the team out, as does Paz. The pitch on the way, swung on, chopped towards third. Here comes Kramer on the edge of the turf to field it, throws to first for the out. 2 down in the Dickinson bottom half of the first inning. The Hardhats have a 2-0 lead. Here's Samuel England, the pitcher. England, a right-handed batter. Outfield play straight away. And McSherry's pitch on the way. Swung on, big bouncer to first. In comes Sorensen to field it. He'll just make the unassisted put out to retire the side. So England hits the first pitch. And a good inning for McSherry, helped out by Timmy Paris and Walker Paz as they throw out the attempted steal by Ouellette. No runs, 1 hit. No post 22 errors, nobody left on base. At the end of 1, post 22-2, the Dickinson Rough Riders nothing. Hard Hat Baseball exclusively throughout the season from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Second game to follow tonight, and Colton Sherbinski will be pitching game 2 of the doubleheader for post 22. And as we go to the top of the second, Jack Sorensen will be leading off.
Tom, I've got a Little League update from our good friend, Lieutenant Jim Bustle of the Rapid City Fire Department from back home. These are some pretty awesome storylines here. So, Little League West A River Subdistrict scores. Spearfish defeated Timberline 9-5. Jed Jensen from Timberline had a clutch 2-run home run, tied the game at 2 in the 5th. But Spearfish played at 7 in the top of the 6th to win. So they'll play the Rushmore Little League in the championship of the B bracket tomorrow at noon. Rushmore already defeated Spearfish 10-0 earlier this week. That's the first of 2 updates. We'll bring the other one later on the broadcast.
Jack Sorensen looks at a strike, and it's 0-1. Jack hitting .297. 3 home runs and 31 RBIs. Here's the motion by Samuel England and his pitch. Swing and a miss and an off-speed breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Well-placed breaking ball from England, and Sorensen was a bit ahead of that. He had a good cut, just a little ahead.
England retired the first 2 men he faced in the first inning. Then 4 consecutive batters reached. Pitch is high to Sorensen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch on the way. And it's down low, and it's 2-2. 320 again down the foul lines here at Astoria Field in Dickinson, and 375 to straightaway center. That's also the distance in the power alleys. 375. Here's a swing and a miss, and Sorensen is down. First strikeout for England as he gets Sorensen. One down. Here's Tommy Wall, the designated hitter. Tommy at 300 on the season. Another player doesn't have a lot of at-bats. 40 at-bats, 12 hits. Grounds a foul outside of third, 1 strike. Tommy with 11 RBIs on the season, no home runs. Here's the 1-strike pitch. He bluffs a bunt and takes a strike. Outside edge, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Dickinson will be in that Central Plains Regional here on August 2nd as the host team. Pitch comes in high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And as we said last night, before we got rained out on our pregame last night, the coaches I've talked to feel that West Fargo is the favorite here in North Dakota. Breaking ball catches the inside corner, strike 3 to Wall. So England has a couple of strikeouts. And that brings up Walker Paz, who flied to center his first at bat. Flied to right field in the first inning. So here's England's pitch. And it's down low and inside for ball 1. Again, they'll play him around to the right in the outfield. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung out, a ground ball to the mound, fielded by England. He'll toss it to first to retire the side. So Walker's down, pitcher to first. And a 1-2-3 second inning for Samuel England. We go to the bottom 2. The Hardhats 2, Dickinson nothing. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Earlier in this half inning, I mentioned that we had a second Little League update coming from Fire Lieutenant Jim Bussell from back home. Harney defeated Belfouche in the second game of tournament play today, 14-1. So now Harney heads to the A Bracket Championship at 2:30 tomorrow, where they'll face Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake defeated Harney last night 10-6, and it should be a great rematch. The winners of both games tomorrow will head to the North Dakota-South Dakota District Tournament, which is next weekend in Rapid City.
Elijah Young, the first baseman cleanup hitter. He's a left-handed batter with a 1-strike count. Bounces that one up the middle. Going to his right and booting the ball is Walker Paz. Walker went a long way to get to the ball, but the ball that he will say he himself should have made the play on. Error on the second baseman Paz. And Young is on to start the second inning for Dickinson.
I think that was just a case of Walker looking to get that exchange before the ball was fully in his glove. And in football, you can kind of equate that to a receiver running before he caught the ball. So that's just what happened with Walker, just a wire crossing there.
Here's Cody Myers swinging and missing for strike 1. Right-handed batting right fielder for Dickinson. Sorensen holding with Young at first base. Here's the set by McSherry. His pitch on the way is swung on and missed. And the count is 0-2, a pitch down and away that Meyer went after. Riley McSherry, who's been a very dependable starter the last couple of seasons. Working out of his set position, he delivers. Swung on, a slow roller back to the mound. McSherry throws to second for one, on to first for the double play. Nicely turned by post 22. 2 down, nobody on.
1-4-3 in the scorebook, and that was a tough play for Riley to make. He's a right-handed thrower, so that means that the glove's on his left hand. Ball's hit to his right, so he has to come across his body, get the stop with his glove, then he's got to turn around, set his feet, get the throw to second, and then Walker Paz makes a gun throw like that to first. Look very easy.
Here's Michael McChesney bouncing a foul off to the left for strike one. 2-0, post 22 leading. Dickinson batting here in the bottom of the second now with 2 outs and nobody on. That double play for post 22. Their 49th double play of the season here in their 51st game. Here's the pitch, and it's low and outside. 1-1 on McChesney. Outfield straightaway, Assumption straightaway in center. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball strike on the outside corner. And it's 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's a fastball outside. Evens the count off at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lucas Jones, the shortstop, is on deck. Pitch on the way, swung on, lined into left center field just over the glove of Cooper Bowman, who skied to try to grab it. So McChesney has hit number 2 for Dickinson here with 2 outs in the last half of the second. And it brings up Lucas Jones, the shortstop, a right-handed batter.
I could have sworn from our angle here, Tom, Cooper Bowman had that ball. That was hit right to him over his head, and Coop's already a tall individual, and when he gets that extension, he's even bigger, but he just missed.
Throw to first base, and McChesney is back. Now McSherry will throw to first again, and just getting back is McChesney. Now Riley at the belt. His pitch on the way. And it's down low, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Mitch Messer's pitching plans he set up this weekend have, as we said, Sherbinski pitching tonight, Kyle McGuire tomorrow, and then it'll be the same rotation against the Scarlets. Fastball over for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's good that he's going on that same rotation. It keeps things nice and simple. Plus, it gets them in the mindset of those are going to be the top 3 guys that'll start off in state and regional play. So he's getting his rotation set in stone.
Throw to first base and getting back McChesney. Now McSherry from the set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a drive to right. Solano's going back. He gets to it and makes the catch in medium deep right field. Jones lines out to Solano in right. No runs, 1 hit, 1 Rapid City error, and 1 man left on base. 2 complete here from Astoria Field in Dickinson, North Dakota, the home of this year's Central Plains Regional. And at the end of 2, it's the Hardhats 2, the Dickinson Rough Riders nothing. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Mark, this pitch rule that the American Legion has instituted this year for tournament play limits a pitcher to 75 pitches per day, or for a starter, or over 3 days. There's different variations depending on how many appearances compared to how many pitches he threw. But if you think the average pitcher is going to throw 10 or 11 pitches an inning, you're crazy. And, to pitch just 6 innings in a game, you can't throw more than 13 pitches an inning.
Right, which is insane when you think about that. I mean, obviously, Riley's off to a great start right now. Off the air, I was commenting how he has 23 pitches in 2 innings, 10 in inning number 1, and 13 in his most previous outing that we just had. But that's not always going to happen. You're going to get times where he walks a few, he gives up a few hits. Obviously, you can't exempt the other team from scoring because it's state and regional play, so your competition is going to be stiff. It's interesting how 75 was the number and not something a little higher.
And Justin Kramer takes the ball down low, leading off here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Post 22 with a 2-0 lead. And the pitch on the way. And a check swing, and it's inside. 2 balls and no strikes on Kramer. Bowman on deck and Solano to follow. Here's the pitch on the way. And it is low for ball 3. Justin flied to left his first at bat. 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. And it's outside at the knees for ball 4. So Kramer draws a leadoff walk here in the 3rd inning. Second walk given up by Samuel England. Cooper Bowman up, singled through the hole to left with 2 outs in the 1st inning. That started that 2-run rally for post 22 as Cooper came around to score. So Kramer takes his lead from first, and the throw over by England. Cooper with that hit got his average up over 400 again. Here's the set. And the right-hander's pitch. Swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. McChesney's going to have a play on it, though, as he hit it into the teeth of that wind as we look at the flag out there in right center field blowing in from left field. And that certainly held up that ball hit by Cooper. Looked good off the bat, but the wind did hold that up a little bit. 1 down, and here's Zach Solano, the right fielder. So Solano hit a little dribbler up the 3rd baseline. It stayed fair for an infield single in the 1st inning. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. A 2-run double by Todd Stevens in the 1st inning, knocking in the post 22 runs. They're bat here in the 3rd with a runner at first and 1 out. Here's the set and another throw to first. England's got a little deceptive move there to first base. You got to be alert. Walking off the bag is Kramer. He's got a pretty good lead. There he goes. The pitch is high and off the mid of the catcher. Kramer goes to second, makes a big turn, and he'll hold up there. Well, he had a big lead, and he took off on that pitch. And it popped out of the mid of Brunk, the catcher. Justin gets a stolen base, and that'll have a Solano at the plate. Now with a runner in scoring position. Here's the set by England. The pitch on the way. And it's down low for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the set again by England. And the pitch, Solano swings and drills it to center field. Backing off is Stephan. He's still going back, reaches out and makes the catch in deep center field. And back to second base goes Kramer. Nice catch by Stephan, the center fielder, to take that drive off the bat of Zach Solano just to the right of center field for out number 2. And that'll bring up Zach Sumption, who walked in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on, bounced foul up the third base line, fielded by Coach Messer, and the count is 1 strike. Two runs on 3 hits so far in the game for post 22. No runs on 2 hits for Dickinson. The 1-strike pitch, swing and a miss by Sumption, and the count is 0-2.
England took a lot of speed off that last pitch, and you can see Sumption timing was just a little off. Again, it looked like a great swing, but he was a little too early on it.
No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch on the way is swung on, a fly ball into left center field. Stephan drifting over into left center, and the center fielder grabs it to retire the side. So Sumption's retired. The leadoff walk doesn't hurt Samuel England. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Post 22 is stranded 3. We go to the bottom of the third from Dickinson. The Hardhats 2 and the Rough Riders nothing on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
8, 9, and 1 hitters for Dickinson as we start the last half of the third inning, our first of 2 games tonight. And then tomorrow, the game time will be 12 noon for the first pitch as the Hardhats play their final regular season road game of the year. It's been a busy last month, Mark.
I think busy's an understatement, but either way, you are correct. This was a lot of baseball this summer, Tom, but I got to tell you, what a blast it's been. Following these boys, following this team, watching each player grow respectively, and then obviously getting to work with you all season has just been a blast.
Most of the time. We had fun last night. Here's a foul off to the right by Tristan Brunk, the catcher. Got rained out. Mark and I are a couple of wild and crazy guys, and we went back to the hotel room and zonked out. That's as exciting as it gets. Here's the 1-strike pitch, another foul off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes.
Tom's being modest in last night's activities. We totally tore down Bismarck. It was great.
Tore down? I don't know if that would be accurate. The 0-2 pitch, and just outside, a fastball to Brunk, the catcher, the number 8 hitter, and it's 1-2.
Well, Destin's our witness. He can tell everyone we tore down Bismarck.
I'll tell you, if there ever was something called fake news, that's it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball up and in. So the count now all even on the Rough Rider catcher. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0. Rapid City leading. Here is Dickinson bats in the last half of the third inning. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a ground ball hit to short. Nice hop for Cooper Bowman. He guns it to first for the out. 1 down, and that'll bring up Sean Stephan, the center fielder. Made a nice catch last inning on that ball hit by Zach Solano to center field. One out, nobody on. Here's the pitch by Riley McSherry. Line past Kramer and down the left field line. Hustling over to pick it up is Todd Stevens. Heading to second is Stephan, and he'll slide in with a double. A sharply hit ball just out of the reach of Kramer, between Kramer and the foul line. And hit number 3 now for Dickinson in the game, and they have a runner at second, 1 out. We go back to the top of the batting order now for the Rough Riders, and Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman, had an infield single in the first inning.
I want to point out real quick, Todd Stevens has a gun out there in left. He got that ball to his relay man in at least under a second and a half. It was in his hand, and it was gone.
So Ouellette takes a pitch over for a strike. Ouellette had an infield hit to third, his first at bat. Then was gunned down trying to steal second base. Stephan leads from second with 1 out. McSherry with a count of 1 strike. Sets, and the pitch. Swinging and a foul back. 0-2 the count. We have a great view of the field here, as you can see on Hardhats-TV. And of course, we hopefully will be back in the same location in a couple of weeks. Pitch on the way. Bouncing to Tim Paris, the runner going to third. He'll make it. Pitch down in the dirt. Good effort by Paris to block it, but Stephan advances on the wild pitch charge to McSherry. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Infield will stay back. McSherry's 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, hit in the hole to right field, a base hit. Past Sorensen, a ground ball single, and an RBI for Tanner Ouellette. And it's now a 2-1 Hardhat lead. 4 hits for the Rough Riders now as they break through against McSherry here in the last half of the third inning. And Cameron Jorda, the third baseman, up. He bounced to third, his first at bat. So the Rough Riders have the tying run at first with 2 down. Sorensen holds with Ouellette. Here's McSherry out of the set. He delivers. Swung out, a hard ground ball foul outside of third. And the count is 1 strike. Steve Greenwood, the coach in the third base box for the Rough Riders. Very personable young man. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And the count now is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. High and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ouellette takes his lead from first. McSherry from the set. He delivers. And he's upstairs again with it for ball 2. So the count all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now McSherry's pitch. Low and away. So Riley has a full count on Jorda. So with 2 outs, Ouellette will be off and running from first. I'm sorry, there's only 1 out. So let's see if he is running, though, even with 1 out here. Here's the pitch. He's going. The pitch is a ball outside. And Riley gives up a walk. First walk of the game. Runners at first and second. What's his pitch total up to, Mark?
He is about to throw number 40. This is the most he's thrown in an inning by far. He started off at 23 coming into this inning. He's at 39, so he's at 16 in this inning right now.
Here's Samuel England up, the pitcher, who grounded out to Sorensen at first base. 2 on now for the Rough Riders and 1 out. McSherry delivers. And it is a ball outside. Didn't miss by much. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the set by McSherry. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on a ground ball, hit the pause at second, and it's past him in the center field. In the score comes Olette, and holding up at second is Jorda. It looked like Walker might get to that ball, but it skipped past him for a base hit and an RBI for England. And that ties the game at 2-2 here in the last half of the third inning. 5 hits in the game now for Dickinson, and it brings up Elijah Young, the first baseman, left-handed batter, reached on an error by Paz in the second inning. There's a swing and a foul backing out of play. 1 strike on Young. No balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Misses inside. You know, I was just thinking, Mark, when we get to the state tournament, regional tournament, not so much the state tournament, but if we can move into a national regional play, it'll be interesting if how the umpires are going to call balls and strikes, if they'll be under kind of some guidance to make sure they open up the strike zone a little bit. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on a ground ball to Sorensen behind the bag. Steps on first for 1, and that's all. Runners move up. Sharply hit ball. Jack got about 2 feet behind the bag to field it, but he really only had the 1 plate if he didn't have time to try to throw to second at all, and he was only 2 feet from the bag, so he got the easy out. Jorda goes to third, and England to second. 2-2 the score here in the bottom of the second, and now Cody Meyer up, the right fielder. Hit into a pitcher to second to first double play, his first time up. McSherry's pitch. Swing and a miss at an off-speed breaking ball. Good pitch there by Riley, and it's 1 strike.
Absolutely. Meyer was way ahead of that first pitch.
McSherry trying to limit the damage here in the bottom half of the third inning. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Two strikes. Meyer hitting number 5 in the order. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a foul off to the right. So he hangs in with a count of 2 strikes. 3 hits in the inning, plus a walk for Dickinson, producing 2 runs so far. And they have a 2-out chance to take the lead. The pitch to Meyer. Swing and a foul down and back. And the count runs along at no balls and 2 strikes. Lots of sunshine tonight. Don't have any threat of rain. 2 strikes to count. Here's the pitch. Foul back. This is foul territory here. Foul ball territory. You could have to get your mitt out there, Mark.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Totally got this.
If we get a foul ball up here, you're going to have to hurl your body in front of the cameras for Hardhat-TV to protect them. Don't worry about me. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Ground ball off the end of the bat. Walker Paz comes to his right to field it, and Walker throws to first for the out. Meyer hit that right off the end of the bat. But Dickinson comes up with a couple of runs to tie the game here in the third inning. 2 runs, 3 hits, no Rapid City errors, and 2 men left on base. So we're all even through 3 innings of play here in Dickinson. The Hardhats 2 and the Rough Riders 2. From the Anytime Auto Sales press box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots, he scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Well, folks, we have ourselves a whole new ball game here. Post 22 came into the third inning with a 2-0 lead, and now they enter the top of the fourth back on offense, knotted up at 2 against the Dickinson Rough Riders in game 1 out of 3 this weekend and 1 out of 2 that will play in this doubleheader tonight. Numbers across the board through 3. For the Hardhats, 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error. And on the other side for Dickinson, it's 2 runs on 5 hits with no errors. Mark Minetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you in the broadcast booth. Todd Stevens will lead off the top half of the fourth. He's responsible for knocking in both Hardhats runs. A 2-run RBI double back in the top of the first. He drops bunt, however, it skips off foul, and he'll start 0-1. So it'll be Stevens, Paris, and Sorensen due up here in the top of the fourth inning. Hardhats and Dickinson knotted up at 2. Stevens playing in left field tonight for the Hardhats. Here's his 0-1 from Sam England. Off-speed pitch, swung on and missed. 0 balls and 2 strikes. Timmy Paris on deck, 0 for 1 with a flyout. And the 0-2 to Stevens. Skips low, and the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pair of strikeouts, pair of base on balls for England so far. He's a pitch away from his 3rd strikeout. Here comes his 1-2 to Stevens. Swung on, and it's fouled off of himself. And the count will hold at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stevens, that 2-out, 2-run double back in the top of the first gave the Hardhats a 2-0 lead. However, 3 hits in the bottom half of the third allowed Dickinson to tie things back up moments ago. 1-2 to Stevens. Off-speed pitch. Turned on and hit high in the air to left field. And McChesney on the run. There to make the catch. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense will bring us to the catcher, Timmy Paris. I got to say, Tom, the outfielders have been pretty busy in this ballgame. There's 4 registered putouts by left field, 2 by center, and 1 by right.
A lot of fly balls here in this game so far.
Timmy Paris has 1 of those F7s in the scorebook. He's 0 for 1. And his first pitch is swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to center field. Stephan, the center fielder, shades to his left, and he makes the catch. Make it 3 putouts for center field. As Stephan retires Paris, 2 up, 2 down. It'll bring up Jack Sorensen.
That's 5 consecutive fly ball outs for post 22.
It's incredible. So Sorensen was not retired with a fly ball out. He actually was the first of 2 England strikeouts, and he looks at a first pitch ball low and away to start off 1-0. If Sorensen keeps the inning going, then Tommy Wall, the DH, is on deck. He is the other of the 2 strikeouts. If not, 6, 7, and 8 due up for Dickinson. Next pitch to Sorensen, a called strike at his belt, and the count will leave it up to 1 ball and a strike.
For a young man who hasn't thrown that many innings for Dickinson this year, England is, I think, pitching very well. He's throwing strikes.
Here comes his 1-1 to Sorensen. That misses low and away. 2-1. And his location's been pretty solid. You can see there's a couple of pitches that'll skip to the plate that, it is what it is at that point, but he's pitched fairly well. 2-1 misses low, and the count will go to 3 balls and a strike. For somebody that doesn't throw many innings, he's already on his 56th pitch of this start, too, in inning number 4. 3-1 to Sorensen. High and upstairs, ball 4. So it's a 2-out walk for Sorensen and the Hardhats. There's a man on first, and that'll bring up the DH Tommy Wall, who was rung up with a backwards K the last time he was up. So Sorensen now on first. It's 3 walks in this start here for England. And Tommy Wall looks to keep things going here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th, and his team knotted up at 2 with Dickinson. First pitch to Wall misses low and away. 1-0 to the Hardhats DH. If he keeps the inning going, we're back to the top of the order to Walker Paz, who's looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2. Here's the 1-0 to Wall. That's a called strike outside corner. And the count evens up at 1-1 for Wall. Sorensen takes his lead off first. Not that big a lead. England deals. Swung on, and it's fouled by Wall. And his count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
Tommy's going to attend Century College in White Bear Lake, Minnesota, and he wants to go into sports management.
Might see him as a future general manager one of these days. 1-2. Rides up high, and the count evens up at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Wall. He has Jack Sorensen on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Post 22 knotted up at 2 with Dickinson. 2-2, swung on it. It's hit to third. Stops made on the play by Jordan. His throw to first is in time, and that'll do it. So the Hardhats are unable to get anything going here in the top of the 4th, and we remain deadlocked. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left on base for post 22. We've officially played half of regulation here in the first of 2 games we'll play tonight. We're still deadlocked. 2 runs on either side. I'll be right back with the bottom of the 4th. 2 up for Dickinson, 6, 7, and 8 in the order. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Tom, I'm going to put this pitching rule that you have been bringing up most of our broadcasts tonight in perspective for everyone back home, because it was the perspective that you just gave us. Riley's pitched 3 innings so far for post 22. He has 50 pitches under his belt, which means that he has 25 left to work with, and the beauty of this whole thing is he could possibly use all 25 of those in this inning, depending on how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting rule to see enforced at the state tournament.
Michael McChesney, the first batter that McSherry will face here in the bottom of the 4th, and he deals a first pitch ball. 1-0 the count from McSherry. McChesney had a 2-out single back in the bottom of the 2nd, but was stranded on the base path. Nothing happened after it. Here's the 1-0. Ball misses low, and the count goes to 2-0. So McSherry's already thrown 2 pitches this inning. He threw 10 in the first, 13 in the second, but 27 in the third. That was his problem inning, and that's where Dickinson tied the ball game up. Here comes his 2-0. That misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes to count. To Michael McChesney, the leadoff hitter. He's the left fielder for Dickinson. At least leading off this bottom half of the 4th. He's number 6 in the order. Here's the 3-0. Called strike. The pitch from McSherry. 3-1. Lucas Jones, the shortstop on deck. Tristan Brunk, the catcher, in the hole. Those 3 gentlemen scheduled to hit in this inning. Here comes the 3-1. Called strike 2 on a fastball outside corner. Nice pitch from McSherry, and the count goes full.
Here's another thing to think about, Mark. What do you do if you got to get somebody warming up? If they start to approach that 75 pitch limit, you've got to have somebody ready to go in the bullpen.
Payoff pitch swung on. That's lined up the middle for a base hit. Zach Sumption fields it at center field. And on first with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the fourth is Michael McChesney. So that's the second time he's on the base path. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and that'll bring up Lucas Jones, the shortstop. And currently, right now, Tom, with 19 pitches left, there's no one warming up for the Hardhats right now. But there should be someone relatively soon. Again, he's only got 19 pitches to work with. Now he could still get out of this in 2 pitches, and it's, you don't have to worry about it till the next inning, but still.
That's my point. You don't know when to start worrying about it.
Right.
He could be out of the inning in 2 pitches. Another 10, 12, 13 pitches go by. Then you start warming somebody up. How long of a time do you get with the guy hit 75 pitches?
If you didn't think baseball was a chess match earlier, then get a load of this. First pitch from McSherry to Jones is high and inside for ball 1, and Jones looked like he was going to show a bunt. 1-0 the count to Dickinson, shortstop. There's a man on first, no one out here in the bottom of the fourth. We're knotted up at 2 between post 22 and the Dickinson Rough Riders. Bunt to Schott. Jones drops it. Paris into field behind home plate. He's thrown to first, flubs, and he's safe. The ball looked like it skipped out of Timmy Paris's hand, and they're going to rule that as an E2. And safe at first is Lucas Jones, so it's men on first and second with no one out. Tristan Brunk, the catcher, now up, and back to your point of when do you start worrying about pitch count here, Tom? Well, errors like that add to the pitch count for Riley. He's got to throw more now. So
probably see another bunt here.
Wouldn't be surprised at this point. You have no one out, and you can put 2 men in scoring position. You're absolutely right. I would be insanely shocked if Brunk didn't at least try once to bunt. He's 0 for 1. He has men on first and second and no one out. McSherry a double take to second. His first pitch in is swung on, and it's hit to short. Bowman gets the stop. Throw to third is not in time. And that'll be an infield hit for Brunk. And my credit there, Tom. I'm shocked. Can't believe he didn't drop it, but he got the infield hit. Now it's bases loaded, no one out. And it'll bring up Sean Steffen.
Great move by the coach of Dickinson, Steve Greenwood, there by not bunting. It's letting him swing away. He gets the base hit out of it. So now the bases are loaded. There's nobody out. Your number 9 hitter is coming up, who doubled his first at bat.
And he came around to score 2. And Riley is 16 pitches away from watching his start come to an end.
Now, Mitch Messer is not required to remove Riley after 75 pitches in this game. So let's make that clear right now. But he was planning what he told us. That's what he wanted to do.
First pitch to Steffen, swung on and missed. And McSherry's behind 0-1. And you are correct to point that out. He doesn't have to, but he's trying to simulate that for his team like you were talking about. Because they will have to deal with it come the state tournament. 0-1, swung on and missed. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes, and McSherry's a pitch away from a crucial out at the plate. No one out. Every base is occupied. McSherry's going full wind-up. 0-2 pitch to Steffen. Swung on it. It's foul. And Steffen stays alive. No balls and 2 strikes. Brunk on first with the infield single. Lucas Jones on second. He reached on the error charge to Timmy Paris. And Michael McChesney on third. He had the leadoff single to start off the bottom half of the fourth. We're deadlocked at 2. McSherry, 0-2 pitch to Steffen. Swung on it. It's fouled off of himself, and the count will hold at no balls and 2 strikes. Oh, 0-2 still the count. And McSherry deals to Steffen. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And a crucial first strikeout of this ballgame for Riley McSherry with the bases loaded. 1 down, and that'll bring us back to Tanner Ouellette, the leadoff hitter in the order and second baseman.
Boy, Riley threw him a fastball there, and I think surprised Steffen a little bit. A good fastball right on the outside edge.
Ouellette is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and one of them knocked in a run. Bases are still loaded. First pitch. Called strike at his knees, a fastball. 0-1 the count. Double play can get McSherry out of the jam here. If not, Cameron Jordan, the third baseman's on deck. Here comes the 0-1. Just missed low and away, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike from McSherry to Ouellette. I look at that name, and I've only seen that name once in hockey here. And the Rush ended up playing the Reading Royals, and Martin Ouellette was the goaltender, but that's how you pronounced his name, was Ouellette. Pitch hit up the middle. Bowman gets it at short to second for one. No, he doesn't get it. The ball was dropped. And a run's going to come in to score on the error. And Dickinson now has a 3-2 lead. Bases are still loaded, and one out here in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, McChesney scores. It'll be an error on Walker Paz at second base, dropping the flip there from Bowman.
So Jones now to third. Bronk at second, and at first is is Tanner Ouellette. That'll bring up Cameron Jordan. His first pitch is low and away for ball one.
We do have some activity now down in the bullpen for post 22. It looks like Trey Eberline.
Ball and no strikes to the count. And 1-0. Missed outside. 2 balls, no strikes. So 2-0 here to Cameron Jordan, the third baseman. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out to third and a walk. Stranded on third back in the bottom of the third. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Dickinson now with a 3-2 lead. Next pitch, a fastball called strike. 2-1 now to Jordan. Jordan still has the bases loaded for Dickinson. They've already struck once in this inning. Here comes the 2-1 from McSherry. Swung on, ball's popped up. Right side of the infield, it's in foul territory. Sorensen tracking it from first, and he makes the catch in the coach's box. And that's a big second out on the pop 3. 2 down, bases are still jacked, and that'll bring up the starting pitcher, Sam England.
You know, through 40 games this season, Mark, post 22 had 40 errors and 40 double plays. In our 51st game now, post 22's error total is up to 64, and their double plays at 49.
It's unfortunate to see that fall. Very unfortunate to see that fall. Sam England, 1 for 2. He's got a ribby single under his belt, and he looks at ball 1 to start off his third trip to the batter's box. Ball and no strikes to count. And McSherry deals to his pitching counterpart outside, 2-0.
So in the last 11 games, post 22 has 24 errors to 9 double plays.
It's almost 2.5 errors a game, just about.
And it was 1, per game, 1 double play per game.
2 balls, no strikes to England. And the pitch rides upstairs, ball 3. And this next pitch from McSherry will be number 75. Now again, Coach Messer doesn't have to pull him right this very second, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. Because the next pitch could either bring a 3-1 count or it could knock in a run on a base on balls. Here comes the 3-0 to England. Called strike inside. 3 balls and a strike to count.
This is another thing that's going to be interesting. If they hit the 75 pitch mark, do they get to finish the batter, or do they have to come out immediately?
Here comes the 3-1 to England. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Walker pauses there with the stop. Throw to first in time, and that'll do it. So the Hardhats get out of that big jam. However, they do surrender a run in the inning. 1 run on 2 hits. There were 2 errors charged to the Hardhats in this inning, and the bases were left loaded. We've played 4, and Dickinson now has the lead. It is 3-2 as we head to the top of the 5th. We'll take a quick recess and be back with the top of the order due up for the Hardhats here in just a moment from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Post 22 was deadlocked starting off the fourth inning. They now start off the top half of the fifth, trailing by a run. 3-2 is Dickinson's lead over Post 22. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It's 2 runs on 3 hits with 3 blemishes on defense. And on the other side of things for the Dickinson Rough Riders, it's 3 runs on 7 hits with no errors in the field. Mark Vanetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action this weekend here from Dickinson, North Dakota. We are at Dakota Community Bank and Trust Ballpark in Astoria Field, where the 2017 Central Plains Regional Tournament will be played. That's the tournament that allows you to fight for a chance to get into the American Legion World Series. It's been very exciting. The Hardhats have made it to the Central Plains Regional Tournament the last 4 years, looking to make it 5 in a row with the state championship this year. Walker Paz looks at ball 1, low and inside to start off the top half of the fifth. We're back to the top of the order for Post 22. The second baseman for the Hardhats is 0 for 2, looking for his first hit. His 1-0 pitch is a called strike on the outside corner, and the count evens up at 1-1.
Last time the Hardhats were in the World Series was 2005, when they won their way in and played on their home field.
Here's the 1-1. Just missed outside. 2 balls and a strike. Now the count to Paz. Two balls and a strike. And England still on the mound. Deals to Paz. That pitch is upstairs. 3-1. That's got to be so exciting to watch a national regional on your home turf.
It was even more exciting to watch the World Series on your own turf.
3-1, swung on. That ball's hit high in the air to right field. That ball has the legs, it has the distance, and it has left the ballpark. Walker Paz, a solo shot to right field, has tied this ball game up with a leadoff home run in the top of the fifth. We are square at 3 runs aside between Dickinson and Post 22.
Walker's 3rd home run of the season gives him 29 RBIs on the year. And we're all tied 3-3.
What a clutch hit that was from Walker Paz. Unfortunately, he has 2 errors under his belt in the ballgame on defense, but he's certainly getting it done with his bat. That gives way to Justin Kramer, and his first pitch from England rides upstairs for ball 1. Kramer on the ballgame is 0 for 1 with a fly out to left and a walk. He also has a stolen base under his belt. 1-0, swung on, lined off the glove of the third baseman Jordan into left. Kramer turns first. And all of a sudden starts to retreat. A nice throw from the left fielder McChesney to hold Kramer at first. And that will be a hit for the Hardhats third baseman, so no one out. A man on first, and that will bring up Cooper Bowman.
Do we have the pitch count for the Dickinson pitcher?
He just threw 68 when he surrendered the single there to Kramer, and now it looks like we're going to have a conference on the mound, speaking of the Dickinson pitcher, Sam England.
A reminder that tomorrow our broadcast first pitch will be at 12 noon. That's 12 noon tomorrow for the final game of this road trip, both on ESPN Radio and Hardhat-TV. And then Wednesday night, a doubleheader against the Billings Scarlets at home. That'll be senior night, honoring the senior post-22 players in a single game on Thursday at 11 a.m. to wrap up the regular season.
Still can't believe we're almost at the end of regulation play. This is just, it's nuts.
State tournament at Fitzgerald Stadium begins on Wednesday, July 26th. Champion crowned on Sunday, July 30th.
Cooper Bowman now steps into the batter's box for his third trip. Started off the ball game with the single. Scored the first run of now 3 for Post 22, and he flew out to left his last time up. So he's 1 for 2, and he looks at a first pitch ball up high from England. 1-0, the count to Bowman was Justin Kramer on first with no one out here in the top of the fifth. Post 22 trailed 3-2 heading into this inning. Walker Paz, the leadoff home run, knotted the game up at 3. 1-0 to Bowman is upstairs for ball 2. Kramer took second. No one was covering the bag. Now he's going to take third, and the ball skips off the glove of the center fielder in Steffen. So Justin Kramer takes 2 bases on the play as there was no one covering second. And the catcher, Brunk, ended up throwing into center field. So an error allows Kramer to put himself 90 feet away from home.
Yeah, Justin will get a stolen base there as he left, but nobody, well, as you said, Mark, went over to cover the bag.
So
Very
Kramer,
strange.
second stolen base of the ball game here for Kramer, as the next pitch to Bowman is low for ball 3. So 3 balls, no strikes to count to the hard hat shortstop, and he has a man 90 feet to his left on third. And the next pitch is inside for ball 4. So Cooper Bowman takes his first walk of the ball game. That'll be the 4th for England in this start. It means men on the corners now for post 22, and that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Zach Solano, who's 1 for 2, with a single and a run scored under his belt. And he has a chance to give the Hard Hats their second lead of the ball game with a base hit, or even a sacrifice fly. England's going to step off the rubber, and he's going to think about this first pitch here to the human muscle, as you like to call him.
Human vacuum cleaner stands at third.
First pitch to Solano, ripped into left field for a base hit. Kramer's going to come in and easily score, and Cooper Bowman's going to move to second. An RBI single for Zach Solano, and the Hard Hats are on top for the second time in this ball game, 4-3, with no one out and 2 men on here in the top of the 5th.
And this is going to be the end of the line for Samuel England.
So the Hard Hats getting the job done here in the top of the 5th. There's still no one out. They have Cooper Bowman in scoring position on second, and they have Zach Solano with that ribby single on first. So it looks like, as Tom pointed out, the start of England has come to its conclusion. And it looks like we're going to get a fun game of musical chairs here as the infield will shift out. And we'll have gentlemen come in from right field. We may have a massive changing of the guard on our hands here. Depends on what we've got. Tom's pulling out the binoculars here, and I think he's going to need them.
I think I'll leave for a while.
Well, the only reason I say that is because not only are we trying to see who shuffled around, but these jerseys are white jerseys with black stripes and silver numbers on them. Sometimes I don't understand some of these uniform combinations. If I'm seeing this, the way I'm seeing it, I think England's going to stay in the ball game. Again, because he's the starting pitcher and he was in the batting order, Dickinson doesn't have a designated hitter. So if they want to keep England in the order, they're going to have to put him in the field. So I think England's going to stay in the field, and he will play first base.
Ouellette has come in from second base to pitch.
And you are absolutely correct on that, Tom. So we're 2 for 2 right now on the defensive changes. Although I did see right field come in, so we might need to see who exactly right field is, or where right field moved. Could be that right field moved to second, and maybe second moved to right. I'm not too sure.
Now at second base is Cody Meyer.
So that's who that was. Okay. So right field did move in. I wasn't seeing things. Which now leads us to the Rubik's Cube of who's playing in right field. I can't recall the who's on first skit from Abbott and Costello, so I can't interject with that as who could potentially be playing right field. Are those binoculars holding up over there for right?
Well, if the guy will turn around.
As of right now, we have a mystery man in right field. It's going to bring up Zach Sumption. Men on first and second for him. He tries to drop the bunt. It's a fair bunt. And Brunk will get the throw to first for the out. That ball was tight-roping that baseline. Barely even moved a foot off of home plate. But it's a 2-3 sacrifice for Zach Sumption. He has successfully moved Cooper Bowman to third and Zach Solano to second, and that'll bring up Todd Stevens, who already has an RBI hit in this ball game. He had a 2-run double in the top half of the first. And his first pitch catches the inside part of the plate on a breaking ball for strike one.
Young moved to right field from first base.
So no balls and a strike the count to Todd Stevens. His next pitch is fouled, just off the end of his bat. No balls, 2 strikes the count here to Stevens. 1 for 2 officially. Again, the 2-run RBI double in the first. He flew out to left in the fourth. He has 2 men in scoring position and 1 out here in the top of the fifth. Cooper Bowman is on third. Solano is on second. Infield's in. The next pitch skips low from Ouellette. And the count goes to 1-2. See, now that I brought up that story about Martin Ouellette and Redding, I want to call him Ouellette.
Well, you could call him some other things.
Ball and 2 strikes the count from Ouellette, and he deals to Stevens. Pitch is swung on, and it's hit to third, but foul. Mitch Messer with a nice bare hand. I think he could still play if you threw him in there. What do you think?
Well, that was a pretty weak throwback to the pitcher, though. It bounced to him. Mitch may have the range, but the arm isn't there.
Ball and 2 strikes the count. Still to Todd Stevens. Men on second and third, and 1 out here in the top of the fifth. 1-2, swung on. Ball's hit to short. Stops made on the play by Jones. His throw to first is in time, and neither Solano or Bowman moves from their respective bags at second and third. So 6-3 in the book for Stevens, 2 down. Still men on second and third, and that'll bring up Timmy Paris.
Boy, Coach Greenwood's made a couple really key decisions in this game, bringing the infield in with 1 out. That definitely was a ball that would have scored the run had the infield been back. But with the infield in, momentarily it's prevented the run.
First pitch to Paris, swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. 0-1 the count to the Hardhats catcher, who's 0 for 2. A pair of flyouts, 1 to left and 1 to center. If he keeps the inning going, Jack Sorensen's on deck. If not, 4, 5, and 6 are due up for Dickinson in the bottom half of this inning. Next pitch, lined to short, and the catch is made by Jones, and that's going to do it. Timmy Paris with a well-hit ball. However, Jones with an even better glove prevents 2 more runs from scoring. And the Hardhats have retaken the lead in this top half of the fifth. 2 runs were scored on the power of 3 hits. There were no errors charged to Dickinson's defense. 2 men left in scoring position. We've played 4.5, and the Hardhats are back on top with a 4-3 lead. And Tommy Wall will take over pitching duties for Riley McSherry. We'll be back with his numbers in just a few moments here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Well, the start of Riley McSherry's come to an end after 4 innings and 76 pitches. He gave up 7 hits and 3 runs, all of which were earned. And he ended up walking 1 and struck out 1. And now he gives way to Tommy Wall. Tommy Wall comes in for his 12th relief appearance of the season, his 17th appearance overall. Wall's put in such a great body of work here, Tommy. He's 38 2/3 innings under his belt. He's 3-1 on the season, 1-1 in save opportunities, and this could be a 3-inning save opportunity there, if those even exist. I don't think they do, though. He has 45 strikeouts to 16 walks, 2 hit batsmen, and a 1.81 ERA. And again, we were talking about it at the Gopher Classic. He has 18 free base runners to 38 2/3 innings of work. That's almost a free base runner every 2 innings that he's pitched. That's insane.
And Tommy, the pitcher now, so post 22 loses their DH.
He'll start off with 4, 5, and 6 in the Dickinson order. That's Elijah Young, who moved to right field. He's a left-handed batter. And his first pitch is low and inside for ball 1. Young on the ball game is 0 for 2. He reached out an error, grounded into a fielder's choice. He was out at first. Next pitch, low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes from Tommy Wall. Bottom half of the fifth, the Hardhats with a 4-3 lead, looking to keep it that way. 2-0 from Wall is a called strike at the knees of Young. 2-1 now the count. It'll be Young, Cody Meyer, and Michael McChesney scheduled to hit for Dickinson. 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Tommy Wall in jeopardy of dealing his 17th base on balls of the season. 3-1 pitch, low and inside, ball 4. So it's a leadoff walk for the Rough Riders. The tying run is on the base path, and that will bring up Cody Meyer, who started off as the right fielder. Now he's playing at second base. Meyer's 0 for 2 on the ball game. He hit into a 1-4-3 double play, pitcher to second to first, and grounded out to Walker Paz at second and stranded 2 men in scoring position in what was a 2-run third inning for Dickinson in the bottom half of that frame. 4-3 is the Hardhats lead. The tying run is on first. That's Elijah Young. And the first pitch to Meyer is low and away for ball 1. Want to know the count here to Meyer, the now second baseman for the Rough Riders. Michael McChesney, the left fielder, is on deck. Ball and no strikes the count. Wall takes his time from the stretch. Bunt is showed, and Wall will throw back to first. So we still have yet to see the 1-0 pitch, and that was Meyer showing bunt, and now his head coach, Steve Greenwood's going to call him over and have a quick discussion. Good on Justin Kramer to make the adjustment. He was charging in from third. Ball and no strikes the count. Bunt is showed again. Kramer charging from third. Pitch. Misses low, and pulling back on the bunt is Meyer. So 2 balls, no strikes the count. Justin Kramer's now parallel with Tommy Wall on the mound. Kramer's ready just in case. He swings away. Ball's lined to Walker Paz. He makes the catch. Throw to first is low, but Jack Sorensen gets it, and it's in time. How about that? An L4-3 double play. Not necessarily the way that it was drawn up, but hey, it works, right?
And the 50th double play of the season for Post 22. Their second tonight, and the second one Cody Myers hit into.
So 2 down quickly for the Hardhats. That'll bring us to Michael McChesney, the left fielder. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and he has scored a run as well. And his first pitch is a called strike from Wall. 0-1 the count to McChesney, who remained in left field, despite the game of defensive musical chairs played by Dickinson in the top half of this 5th inning. 0-1 pitch swung on, and it's fisted into center, and it's going to drop in the Bermuda Triangle for a base hit. Sumption and Stevens came in from center and left, and Bowman charged back from short. But the ball dropped, so it'll be a bloop single for McChesney. 2 down and a man on first. Tying runs back on the base path for Dickinson. That'll bring us to Lucas Jones, who is 0 for 2. With a fly out to right, and he reached on an error trying to drop a bunt. But Timmy Paris' throw from the catcher position was low. First pitch to Jones is off the paraphernalia of Paris. He's going to hang on to the ball, and taking second is McChesney. So a wild pitch will allow McChesney to go to second. For Lucas Jones, he starts off with a 1-0 count. Shortstop for Dickinson in the batter's box, looking for his first hit of the ball game, and it would most likely tie this ball game up if he got it. Here comes his 1-0. Pitch is low. 2 balls, no strikes to count. It's a 4-3 Hardhats lead. They're looking to keep it that way with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for Post 22. 3 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Dickinson. Man on second. No runs have been scored in this frame yet for the Rough Riders. 2-0, misses low to Lucas Jones, the shortstop. 3-0 the count. Tommy Wall took over at the start of this inning in relief of Riley McSherry. 3-0. High and away, ball 4. So Tommy Wall issues his second free pass. Very uncharacteristic. 2 outs, men on first and second. It brings up Tristan Brunk, the catcher, who's 1 for 2 with a single. Timmy Paris is going to have a quick talk with Tommy Wall. And again, Tom, it's very rare not only that we see Tommy Wall give up a free base runner, but especially 2 in the same inning.
You know, both Riley and McSherry and Tommy Wall like to work off the outside corner. They try to throw breaking balls that catch the corner or entice hitters to hit just off the corner, but they haven't been getting a lot of that strike call on the outside corner, both Riley and Tommy Wall. So I think that's one adjustment that Tommy might have to make here.
Could be what Timmy was talking to Tommy about as well. You're absolutely right. And he might have to make that adjustment because he's got men on first and second and 2 outs here. Trying to get that last out here in the bottom of the 5th. Post 22 with a 4-3 lead, and they're looking to keep it that way. Tristan Brunk, the catcher, 1 for 2. He singled the last time he was up. And the first pitch he sees misses outside for ball 1. If Brunk keeps the inning going, Sean Steffen, the center fielder, is on deck. If not, Jack Sorensen will lead off the top half of the 6th for the Hardhats. Ball and 0 strikes the count. He looks at second and is 1-0. Is swung on and it's hit foul. And just to the right of our super expensive equipment. And our director, Destin Human. Luckily, nobody was injured in the making of this at-bat. 1-1 to count here to Brunk. Tommy Wall up against Tristan Brunk, the catcher. Ball and a strike. 2 outs, 2 men on. And the 1-1 is hit foul, first base side and out of play. 1-2. Tommy Wall looking for his first strikeout. And it would be so crucial that it would end this inning and strand a runner in scoring position for Dickinson. They've stranded 4 out of their 6 base runners in scoring position, including the last inning where they left the bases loaded. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Wall checks the runner at second, and he deals the 1-2 pitch. Misses outside. And the count will even up at 2-2. Jones is on first. McChesney's on second. 2 outs thanks to an L4-3 double play that Cody Meyer lined into not too long ago. Wall's a strike away from his first strikeout in relief. And he deals his 2-2. Swung on, and the pitch is foul. And the count will hold at 2-2. Relievers aren't put on a pitch count in state play, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they are?
It's the same.
It's 75 for everyone. Interesting. Well, Tommy's about to throw 20 for what that's worth.
Yeah, any pitcher can't throw more than 75 innings in an appearance.
75 innings, that's a long ball game.
But if Tommy, let's say, he throws 40, there's some, again, it's a stage rule where he could come back in 2 days instead of 3 days if his pitches are down. Again, we'll get those rules all straightened out for you and have those for our broadcast next week when we close out the regular season.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And Wall deals high and over the head of Brunk, and the count will go full.
And the reason, it's been kind of, we've known it's going to be coming, but it hasn't been enforced at all during the regular season by anyone, so that we know of. Although I heard in Minnesota they were doing it when we were up there in the Gopher Classic in their league games.
Big payoff pitch coming from Wall to Tristan Brunk, the catcher. Throw to second is into center field, and everybody's got to advance a base. They had the runner on second, and McChesney caught, but the throw was off track. If that throw's on the money, then the inning's over. Instead, Wall went way into center field. So Sumption had to bring it in. It's men on second and third, and it's still a full count. So an unfortunate E1 allows both runners to advance to scoring position. Payoff pitch is even more crucial at this point to Brunk, and Wall deals. Swung on, and the ball's hit high in the air to right center field. Solano comes in. The ball's going to drop in front of him. 1 run's going to score. He throws into Sorensen. 2 runs are going to score. And Dickinson has retaken the lead. A 2-run RBI single for Tristan Bronk, and it's 5-4 Rough Riders with 2 outs and a man on first here in the bottom of the 5th. A 2-run RBI single for Bronk, and boy, Tom, that missed throw to second became that much more important. So the inning keeps going. And the first pitch to the 9-hole hitter, Sean Steffen, misses for ball 1. Steffen is 1 for 2. Double and a run scored, and a strikeout under his belt. His 1-0 swung on, and that's pulled into left field, and that ball's going to drop for a base hit. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Rounding second, heading to third is Brunk. He's getting the green light. He's going to come home, and he will score as the throw from Stevens was over his relay throw in Bowman. The 3rd run of this inning scored on another RBI hit. This one going to Sean Steffen, and it's now 6-4 Dickinson, still with 2 outs, but now a man on second here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, there's a good example. Todd hasn't played left field hardly at all this year, and he overthrew the cutoff man. Had he been on target with that cutoff to Bowman, Cooper would have had a play at the plate.
So 3 runs have scored, and that brings us back to the top of the order to Tanner Ouellette, who is now the pitcher. He drops a bunt, however, it goes foul. And he starts behind 0-1. Ouellette is 2 for 3. He has 2 singles. He has an infield single and an RBI single. Came around to score a run. The last time he was up, he reached on an error to Walker Paz at second. Hardhats tried to turn a double play, and Bowman's scoop and toss to Paz was dropped. No balls and a strike to count. So Tanner Ouellette was the relief pitcher for the Rough Riders. His next pitch misses low and away, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike.
I can't remember a team in my life that has had as much problem, and the pitching's been great this year, but has had as much problem after there are 2 outs and nobody on base, getting the final out.
There's the 1-1. Swung on and just fouled to the backstop. Ball and 2 strikes now the count to Tanner Ouellette. If he is that final last out that Tom's been talking about, that for some reason's been so hard to get, the Hardhats will go to the top of the 6th with Jack Sorensen leading off. Ball and 2 strikes the count. And his 1-2. Swung on, and it's a line foul. And the count will hold at 1-2 to Ouellette. Tanner Ouellette has a man on second. That is Sean Steffen. He had the RBI hit. I believe it was a single, and he advanced on the throw. So 1-2 the count from Wall to Ouellette. If he keeps the inning going, Cameron Jorda's on deck, still looking for his first hit. And again, if not, top of the 6th starts off with Jack Sorensen for post 22. It's 6-4 Dickinson. They've scored 3 runs in this inning. 1-2 from Wall. Rides upstairs, and the count evens up at 2-2 to Ouellette. As of right now, the inning reads 3 runs on 3 hits with an error charged to post 22. Two balls, 2 strikes the count to Ouellette, and Wall deals. Swung on, and it's fouled yet again. And the next pitch out of Wall's hand will be number 30 of this inning, which is his first in relief. Tanner Ouellette looking for his 3rd hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 3. Pair of singles. One's already knocked in a run. He has a man in scoring position to potentially knock in again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Wall deals to Ouellette. Swung on, ball's hit to first. Sorensen gets the scoop. The toss to Wall covering is in time, and that'll do it. 3-1 in the book ends the bottom half of the 5th. 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error charged to post 22, 1 man left on the base path in scoring position for Dickinson. It's been a seesaw battle these last couple of innings. Dickinson's back on top. They carry a 6-4 lead into the top half of the 6th. Game 1 of our doubleheader. We'll be right back in just a few moments with Jack Sorensen leading off the top of the 6th for Post 22. The Anytime Auto Sales Press Box. You are listening to Post 22 on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Five innings have been played, and like I said, leading into the last break, these last couple of innings have been quite the seesaw battle. Post 22 came into the 5th, trailing, scored 2 runs to take a 4-3 lead, and in the bottom half of the 5th, with 2 outs, allowed a single, a walk, a 2-run RBI single, and an RBI single. And now Dickinson has a 6-4 lead. Numbers across the board through 5. Post 22, 4 runs, 6 hits, 4 errors. And for Dickinson, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you in the broadcast booth. Tanner Ouellette deals a first pitch called strike. And a breaking ball to Jack Sorensen, who leads off the top half of the 6th for Post 22. Sorensen 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout under his belt. And his 0-1 pitch catches his belt in the strike zone for strike 2. And he's quickly behind 0-2. It'll be Sorensen followed by Wall, and then back to Paz at the top of the order, scheduled to hit. 0-2 misses low from Ouellette, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes now for Sorensen. Tommy Wall was the designated hitter. He's the relief pitcher, and he will stay in the batting order because he is taking his warm-up swings in the on-deck circle. 1-2 to Sorensen, misses high and away, and the count will even up 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And Ouellette deals upstairs, and the count goes full. So Sorensen, who was quickly behind 0-2, now has his 6th pitch of this at-bat coming towards his direction, and it's a full count. Payoff pitch from Ouellette to Sorensen. Swung out and missed, strike 3. And Ouellette gets his first strikeout in relief. 1 up, 1 down for Post 22 on offense here at the top of the 6th, and that'll bring us to the relief pitcher, Tommy Wall. Wall in the ball game is 0 for 2. Struck out looking in his first at-bat, grounded out to third to end the top half of the 4th. First pitch from Ouellette misses inside, and the count's 1-0. No one on the base path here for Wall. 1 out in the top of the 6th, and the Hardhats trail 6-4 to the Dickinson Rough Riders. Here's the 1-0. Called strike at his knees. Fastball from Ouellette, and the count evens up at 1-1. Next pitch misses, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike to Wall. And the 2-1 is upstairs. 3-1 now the count. Three balls and a strike now to Tommy Wall. And Ouellette deals high and inside for ball 4. So Ouellette walks Wall with 1 out here in the top half of the 6th. Wall and his speed are on the base path. That's going to bring up Walker Paz, who drilled one out of the park over the right field fence, just next to the scoreboard. That was his first and only hit of the ball game. He's 1 for 3. Big home run for Paz. It tied the ball game up at that moment. His first pitch is a swing and a miss. And the count starts off 0-1 for the Hardhats second baseman. He has Tommy Wall on first with 1 out. Wall has a lot of speed on the base path, so it'll be interesting to see if he tries to take off at all. 0-1. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left field. McChesney misread the ball, and it goes all the way to the backstop. Tommy Wall has his afterburners turned on, and he's getting the green light. He is rounding third, and he's going to come home, and the throw won't get there. A one-out RBI double for Walker Paz, and the Hardhats chip away at their deficit within striking distance, trailing 6-5, with one out and a man in scoring position here in the top of the sixth.
McChesney was as surprised, I think, as I was at how much that ball carried into that wind to the opposite field by Walker. So he gets his double and an RBI. Two RBIs give him 30 now on the year, and his 17th double.
Now Justin Kramer has a chance to tie this ball game up with a man in scoring position, in his first pitch misses for ball one from Ouellette. Kramer on the ball game's 1 for 2. A walk, 2 stolen bases, and a single in his last at-bat. He came around to score. He tries to drop the bunt, and he does so. Third base side. Ouellette goes to field it, and he's not going to throw. A bunt single for Justin Kramer. Where have we seen that one before? A very well-placed bunt. It moves Walker Paz over to third, and now it's men on the corners with one out for post 22, and that is going to bring up the ever so dynamic Cooper Bowman. So Justin Kramer's 2 for 3. He's been on base 3 consecutive plate appearances with a walk, 2 singles, this one of the bunt variety. And he's going to go. A strike is dealt to Bowman, and the throw is cut off in the thought that Walker Paz was going to take off for home, but he didn't. So Justin Kramer gets second. It's 2 men in scoring position and an 0-1 count here to Cooper Bowman, who's 1 for 2 looking for his second hit. The 0-1 is low, and the count will even up. Ball and a strike to count. 1-1 the count here to Bowman. 2 men in scoring position. Next pitch is swung on, and the ball is hit high in the air to short. Rather third base. Underneath it is Jordan, and he'll make the catch. Very unfortunate turn of events for the Hardhats there. The second out, just a pop fly to the infield. 2 down. That'll bring up Zach Solano with a chance to tie the ball game up, maybe even give the Hardhats the lead, as we have another conference on the mound. Whether this means Ouellette's relief appearance has come to a conclusion or not is yet to be seen. So Solano comes up with men on second and third. Kramer is on second. Walker Paz is on third. And this is a very big at-bat for Solano, who came through the last time he was up, Tom. He's 2 for 3. He has a pair of singles. And the last one in the top of the 5th knocked in a run to give the Hardhats the lead.
One of the things they're discussing, would you rather pitch to Solano or Sumption? First base is open. There are 2 outs. It would set up a force for him at any base, but again, you got to have your pitcher throw strikes also. But that's an interesting discussion going on out there right now. Second game will come up about a half hour after this one with Colton Sherbinski taking the mound for post 22.
We'll give you a sneak peek at Colton Sherbinski's statistics. He'll come out for his 7th start of the year tonight. He has a perfect 6-0 record under his belt, 37 1/3 innings of work. Sherbinski, 36 strikeouts to 20 walks on the year and a 1.31 ERA. And it looks like, Tom, that they've made a pitching change here for Dickinson.
Lucas Jones is coming in to pitch from shortstop.
So Tanner Ouellette has watched his relief appearance span an inning and 2/3. He is responsible for both runners. He's allowed 1 run, and it was earned, so he's still responsible for both runners. He could go from 1 run allowed to 3 runs allowed. He allowed 2 hits, both of which have come in this inning. He has walked 1, and he struck out 1. He did it all on 24 pitches. Like Tom said, Lucas Jones will now move from shortstop over to the mound. Does this mean that Ouellette will switch with him at short? Looks like that could be the case. Looks like Ouellette will stay in the game, and he is going to take over at short. So it's a direct flip. Ouellette will take short. Jones will take to the mound. So Zach Solano steps into the batter's box for his fourth opportunity to swing the bat. 2 for 3 in the ball game, a pair of singles. One of them's knocked in a run. 2 outs, top of the 6th. Then his first pitch is a called strike from Jones, and Solano starts behind 0-1. Solano has men on second and third. Pauses on third. On second is Justin Kramer. 0-1 to Solano. Missed outside on a fastball, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Jones is the third pitcher that Dickinson has utilized in this game. Here comes this 1-1 to Solano. Off-speed pitch, chop foul, third base side. And the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. If Solano can't knock in a run and keep the inning going, then 2, 3, and 4 are scheduled to hit for Dickinson in the bottom half of this inning. 1-2 pitch to Solano. Misses low and away, and the count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Solano has men on second and third. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. The Hardhats trail 6-5. The swing of the bat from Solano and a base hit could either tie or give the Hardhats the lead. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and that ball's pushed in the air to right center field. Underneath it is Steffen, and he's going to make the catch, and that will end the Hardhats' threat. So the Hardhats get a run on the power of 2 hits. There were no errors charged to the Dickinson defense. There were 2 men left on the base path in scoring position. 5.5 innings have been played. We'll go to the bottom half of the 6th. 2, 3, and 4 are due up to once again face Tommy Wall of the Hardhats. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball, the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
It's a dance party up here in the booth as we transition to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Post 22 plated a run in the top half of this frame as Tom looks at both Destin and myself in disgust.
Disgust? That wasn't a disgust look. That was a bewildered look.
5.5 innings. Post 22, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors. And on the other side for Dickinson, they're in the lead. 6 runs, 10 hits, and an error. Tommy Wall, still in relief. He'll take on the third baseman Cameron Jordan to lead off, and his first pitch is a called strike. 0-1 the count to Jordan. He's followed by Sam England, who's now the first baseman, and then Elijah Young, who's now the right fielder. So 2, 3, and 4 scheduled to hit. 0-1 from Wall, misses inside, and the count will even up at a ball and a strikes. Ball and a strike. Apparently, I don't know my possessives and my plurals. Jordan is 0 for 2. A walk and a ground out, a pop out to first base in foul territory, and his 1-1 pitch misses low, 2 balls and a strike. Sometimes words are hard. 2-1 the count to the leadoff hitter of this bottom half of the 6th, and Wall's next pitch is outside 3-1. 3 balls and a strike now to Cameron Jordan, the third baseman. And Wall delivers his 3-1, low and away for ball 4. So Tommy Wall issues his third walk in relief. Leadoff man's aboard. That'll bring up Sam England, who's now playing first base. We talked about it earlier, Tom, and Tommy's just missing that outside part. So England comes up. He's 1 for 3. He has a ribby single under his belt. He's grounded out twice. He has a man on first. Shows bunt, and he drops it right back to the mound. Wall doesn't have to play at second. He throws to first, and it's in time. So Sam England with the perfect execution of a 1-3 sacrifice advances the leadoff man to second. 1 out, and that'll bring up Elijah Young, the left-handed hitting right fielder. Young on the ballgame's 0 for 2. He reached on an error, grounded into a fielder's choice at first, and walked. Was out on the base path in the midst of a double play. Hit by Cody Meyer, the second one he's hit into. First pitch to Young, swung on, ball's hit high in the air to center. And Bowman's going to make the catch at short, but his throw to second is off track. Paz can't get to the bag. Just in time, he missed it. Otherwise, the Hardhats would have turned their second double play of the ball game. Bowman came crashing from short to center to make the catch, and he did. But his throw to Walker Paz at second was just wide. So it'll be a pop 6 instead for Elijah Young. 2 outs, still a man on second in Jordan, and that will bring up Cody Meyer. The Hardhats almost had their third double play of the ball game, and second in as many innings. So here comes Cody Meyer. He's twice hit into a double play. He will avoid that from happening a third time because there's already 2 outs, and he looks at a first pitch ball. Meyer's 0 for 3 with those 2 double plays, a 1-4-3 and an L-4-3. Ball and no strikes to count to Meyer. And the 1-0 is swung on and it's hit foul, third base side. And the count will even up at a ball and a strike. If Meyer is the final out of this bottom half of the 6th, and the Hardhats will turn to the top of the 7th to Zach Sumption, Todd Stevens, and Timmy Parrish to plate 1 run. Assuming they don't allow one in this bottom half of the 6th, that's all they'll need to tie the ball game up. 1-1 from Wall. Swung on. Ball is hit to third. Once again, it's foul. And now the count balloons to a ball and 2 strikes to Cody Meyer, the second baseman for Dickinson. However, if Meyer keeps the inning going, Michael McChesney's on deck, and he is a perfect 3 for 3. A trio of singles, and he's come around to score twice. Ball and 2 strikes the count from Wall to Meyer. Meyer is a man on second and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Hardhats have not allowed a run, and they trail 6-5. 1-2. Missed low and away, and the count evens up 2-2. Tommy Wall still looking for his first strikeout in relief. And it would be a big one here. It would strand a runner in scoring position. It would bring the Hardhats up for their last 3 chances, at least, to try and tie this ball game up. 2-2. Swung on, and it's ripped foul. First base side and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count remains. This is game 1 of 2 out of our doubleheader tonight. And like Tom mentioned earlier in our broadcast, the second game will begin roughly a half hour after this one concludes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wall deals to Meyer. Swung on. Ball is hit to short. Bowman gets the stop. Throw to first is in time. What a great throw from Cooper Bowman, and that will end the threat and the bottom half of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors charged to post 22, and 1 man left on the base path in scoring position for Dickinson. We have finished 6 innings of play. And post 22 trails 6-5. Their last 3 potential opportunities to tie this ball game up rest on the bats of Zach Sumption, Todd Stevens, and Timmy Parrish. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, with the top of the 7th from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Post 22 is going to need a rally here as we go to the top of the 7th. Dickinson leading 6-5 with 6 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. They have stranded 8. 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors for Post 22. They also have stranded 8 men. Zach Sumption will try to get things going here in the top of the 7th against Lucas Jones, the third pitcher used by Dickinson in the game. Sumption has walked, fly to left center, and had a sacrifice bunt. Right-handed batter, and the first pitch is a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Todd Stevens on deck, Timmy Paris to follow. There's a foul back by Sumption, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes. Jones delivers. Swing and a miss. A breaking ball away, and Sumption strikes out. So 1 down for Post 22 here in the top of the 7th. That brings up Todd Stevens, the left fielder. Todd doubled to left, drove in 2 runs in the first inning, flied to left in the 4th, grounded out to short in the 5th. He is 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And Jones delivers. He bunts the ball out in front of the plate. It's going to be picked up by the pitcher. The throw to first for the out. Good fielding play by Jones, who was the shortstop before coming in relief, and he moved off the mound quickly to field that bunt attempt by Stevens. So now the Hardhats down to their last out as Timmy Paris steps in, batting 7th in the order. He's flied to left center, flied to right center, and then hit a sharp line drive to the shortstop in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball away for strike 1. And the pitch on the way. High and tight, a fastball. 1-1 to Paris. Center fielder Stephan a few steps towards left center field on Timmy. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside a ball. Timmy with 3 home runs on the season. None more dramatic than that extra inning home run against Rocky Mountain in the Firecracker. The pitch on the way. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jack Sorensen in the on-deck circle, hoping for a chance here, as Paris has a count of 2-2. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball outside, and we have a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mitch Messer, with only a 15-man roster for this game, is very limited in his moves. The pitch on the way. Hit foul down the right field line. If Timmy should reach the full roster, Mitch would probably have a pinch runner for Timmy. But in this position, with McSherry already being used in the game as a pitcher, he can't play the outfield if we would go extra innings. If Stevens would catch. Pitch on the way. Bounce towards short. Here comes the shortstop Ouellette's throw to first. Not held by the first baseman. England couldn't scoop it on the short hop. A throwing error on Ouellette, allowing Paris to reach with 2 outs and the second error of the game on Dickinson. And Post 22 lives, and we are going to get the pinch runner.
It looks like Holden Jackson is coming in for Paris.
So Holden going in to run at first base for Timmy. And the batter is Jack Sorensen. Struck out in the second, walked in the fourth, struck out again in the sixth inning. So Holden Jackson pinch running for Paris at first base. Sorensen, who's hit 3 home runs on the year. Here's the set by Jones and the pitch. There's a hard ground ball to Ouellette at short. He'll go to second, and it is just in time. Holden Jackson forced at second base, 6-4 on the force, and Dickinson wins Game 1. The final score, the Dickinson Rough Riders 6, the Post 22 Hardhats 4. Mark and I'll return as Post 22 goes with no runs, no hits, an error, and 1 left. 6-5, Dickinson wins. Back with the totals and highlights in just a moment from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1940.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Final score, Dickinson 6, the Hardhats 5, Post 22 now 44-7 on the season, and Dickinson now is 21-9 on the year. The final totals for the Rough Riders: 6 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. They stranded 8, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors, and 9 left for Post 22. Winning pitcher, in relief, Tanner Ouellette. Lucas Jones records a save for Dickinson, and Tommy Wall takes the loss in relief for Post 22. Hardhats took a 2-0 lead in the first inning on Todd Stevens' 2-run double, but Dickinson tied it in the third with 2 runs, and then took the lead in the fourth inning by a score of 3-2, only to have the Hardhats come back and take the lead 4-3. With 2 runs in the top of the 5th inning on a home run by Walker Paz and an RBI single by Zach Solano. 4-3 Hardhats, but then back in the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th, 3-run score on 3 hits for Dickinson. There was a Post 22 error tossed in there, and the Rough Riders had a 6-4 lead. Post 22 looked like they might have a chance to pull this one out in the 6th inning when they scored a run on an RBI double by Paz. They had Paz at third, Kramer at second with only 1 out and trailing by just a run. But Cooper Bowman popped to third and Solano flied to right center. That ended the threat. And then in the 7th inning, Post 22 got a 2-out error, allowing Timmy Paris to reach, but Jack Sorensen hit into a force out to end the game. So the Hardhats lose 6-5. And Mark, I haven't seen Dickinson play in a long time. And I was very impressed by what Coach Steve Greenwood has done with this team. He took over, as we said, about a third of the way into last year. And, they're a gritty team. They compete, and I was impressed. And I thought they played a good competitive game, obviously competitive enough to win it 6-5. And you have to hand the Rough Riders credit. They did a lot of things to win this ball game.
Well, particularly in the 5th inning when they did take the lead for the final time against Post 22, all of their big hits came with 2 outs. You get the start of the inning as Elijah Young, he walks, and then Cody Meyer hits into his second double play of the ball game, an L4-3 right to Walker Paz. So you think you're going to get out of this with Tommy Wall in relief. He goes almost 5 pitches, 7 pitches, whatever it was, gets his first 2 outs, but then he gives up a single. A wild pitch advances that man to second, and Mike McChesney. Then He walks a guy. An error advances both gentlemen to scoring position on Tommy Wall's part, trying to get one of the guys out at second. Then the next guy up, and Tristan Brunk, the catcher, hits a 2-run RBI single. This is still all with 2 outs, mind you. Sean Steffen follows up with a ribby single, and before you know it, your 4-3 lead is gone, and all you needed to do was get that second out. You brought it up earlier in the broadcast how while the Hardhats have pitched well, while the Hardhats have done so many great things in this season, at 44-7, that record speaks for itself. They just have problems getting that last out of the inning, and it showed right there. So credit the Rough Riders. They were given an opportunity to cash in. They had to do it with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. They got the job done, and they take game 1 out of 3 this weekend and 1 out of 2 tonight.
Okay, we'll be back on the air, probably be back on the air in about 30 minutes for Game 2 of our doubleheader here from Dickinson on a beautiful July night for baseball.